It's been a while, so I thought I'd make another top 10 list, and this is my top 10 favourite non-Gundam mobile suits. Not what I consider the best, these are just my favourites of all time. These are the ones that I just love. So if it's a Gundam, it will not be on this list. This is like the unique one-off designs or grunt units, all that kind of jazz. So starting off, number 10, we have the Nemo. The Nemo is the mass-produced mobile suit used by the AU during Zeta Gundam in their fight against the Titans. Essentially, it was their version of the GM, but much improved in many ways. There's just something I love about the Nemo. It just looks so standard issue and basic, and I mean that as a compliment. It's not supposed to be flashy or super powerful or specialised in one aspect. It's supposed to be the grunt unit of a rebel faction, the workhorse, the jack of all trades, master of none, and its design just encapsulates that. Design-wise, it is derived from the GM2, which I also like, but you can see how it was clearly made to be its own thing, while still showing its GM roots. I love its weaponry, its shield design, I love its vertical over-under thruster layout on its back, and I love its very distinct colour scheme. I was very happy to see it show up in Unicorn Gundam, albeit with a different paint job, and I'm always happy to see it pop up now and again with modern animation. Number 9, the Gouf Custom. The star of possibly the best fight sequence in all of Gundam, the Gouf Custom is a menacing looking mobile suit and should be appropriately feared. Showing up in the final few episodes of the 8th MS team anime, the Gouf Custom uses its limited screen time to make a massive impression on not only the battlefield, but the fanbase. Just like when the original version of the Gouf showed up in the original series, the appearance of this suit indicates that shit is about to get real difficult for our protagonist. Its looks only differ slightly from the original standard issue version of the Gouf, aided by more modern animation obviously, but those differences make a huge impact. Its left hand is an actual hand now instead of 5 gun barrels made to look like a hand, with its machine gun now being an optional attachment above the hand. It has a heat sword instead of a beam sword, but somehow the giant metal blade seems much more intimidating than the standard beam weapon. And its heat rod is replaced with a thinner, long wire that has a magnetic anchor at the end of it, meaning it can stick to enemies and shock them, essentially EMPing them and disabling the suit, and skilled pilots can use it as a grapple hook. And last, but certainly not least, it has a shield-mounted Gatling gun that could give the heavy arms a run for its money. Absolutely fantastic design. Number 8, the Rick Diaz. The Rick Diaz is the first sort of modern mobile suit we ever see way back at the beginning of Zeta Gundam. Looking like a mix between Federation and Zeong designs, almost as if the Federation was asked to make its own version of the Rickdom from memory, but better. It's a stocky little bruiser looking suit that gets stuff done. Starting off originally as black, but then all units were then painted red in honour of Quattro Pagina. And despite the Titans coming up with a new mobile suit almost weekly, the Rick Diaz in the right hands was able to last throughout the entire Grips War. There's just something I love about the Rick Diaz, and I think it is the fact that it is uniquely its own thing. It doesn't strictly fall into the Zeong Titans mono eye design, nor does it really fit the Federation GM or Gundam archetype. It really is a nice blend of the two, creating something distinct and uniquely captivating. Number 7, the Powered GM. GM, Jim, I say GM. And there's lots of variants of the GM. Sniper variants, space variants, aqua, artillery, but out of all of them, my favourite has and probably always will be the Power GM. If there's one thing I love in mobile suit designs, it's big backpacks with thrusters on them, or wings. Except you, Destiny Gundam, piece of shit. So when I seen the Power GM fly onto the screen at the start of Stardust Memory, I fell in love. The design lives up to the name, Powered, as it looks like they gave the GM steroids. Beefed up in almost every way, more speed, more armour, more firepower, it's just an absolute beast of a mobile suit. It's a shame that its screen time is limited and we see it get absolutely demolished in a sneak attack, but it's not about screen time, it's about impact, and this suit's design impacted me and I've loved it ever since. Number 6, the Marasai. The Marasai to me is the true successor to the Zaku. Unlike the High Zac, which, let's be honest, is just a souped up Zaku, the Marasai feels like the next evolution in the mono-eyed, mass-produced grunt unit. It has all the callbacks to the Zaku design, but improved. It still has the menacing snout with tubes, the shield on one shoulder and spikes on the other. It just looks so badass. It's ironic to me that the Titans, a group made to hunt down Zeon remnants, made one of the most Zeon looking mobile suits ever. Menacing, that's just the word that comes to mind when I look at this thing. It's nostalgic but modern, just a really good design. It tells you everything you need to know about it just by looking at it. It's just a really good mobile suit. Number 5, the Zeong. Geong? I say Zeong, and I love this suit. For some reason it's always reminded me of an Iron Maiden torture device. I just love the unique idea that the suit is only 80% complete, but 100% combat ready, since technically you don't need legs in space. The first of the final boss mobile suits, back when final bosses actually piloted a different designed mobile suit instead of just a bad guy version of a Gundam. The Zeong only appears in the final 2 episodes of the original series and makes a big impact on the battlefield. With its mega particle cannons in each of its fingers, its hips and its mouth, the Zeong was packing some serious firepower. Add to that the ability for its pilot to independently guide the arms on wires for multi-directional attacks. In the right hands, this suit is devastating. The biggest mobile suit of its time. Without its legs, it was roughly the same height as every other mobile suit, and with its legs, in its so-called perfect or completed form, it would stand at around 30 meters tall, making it one of the largest mobile suits ever in any series. Personally, I'm not a fan of its completed perfect form, as I much prefer it in its legless form, as it gives it a unique quality, almost making it fly around like some evil spectre of death. Number 4, the Sinanju. I was torn between putting this here or the Sazabe, but in the end, the thrusters won me over, as this is somewhat of a more streamlined version of the Sazabe. I instantly fell in love with this design when I first saw it. It just ticks all the right boxes for me. In canon, the suit was originally developed from the data of the Sazabe and the new Gundam, the final mobile suits piloted by Char and Amuro, and you can see that reflected in its original form, the Sinanju Stein. This prototype was then stolen by the Zeon remnants and given a Zeon makeover. And what a makeover! They tried to make the most Zeon mobile suit that ever Zeoned, and it worked. It's sleek, fast, the colour scheme is just right, its weapons are really awesome. It's really hard to fault the design of this suit. The Sinanju, the most recent design on this list, and already a classic and iconic one for me. Number 3, the Guncannon. Of all the Project V prototype mobile suits, the Guncannon has always been my favourite. Its beefy design always appealed to me, and how the designers managed to make it truly look like the stepping stone design between the gun tank and the Gundam. I've always been a fan of the support characters, the second guy, the one that was just behind the main character in terms of power, but just as impactful and important. Kai from Beyblade, Vegeta, Kaiba, War Machine, Sam, Scottie Pippen. If I could pilot any of the original Project V mobile suits, I would choose the Guncannon every time. I feel the Guncannon often gets forgotten about, which obviously the Gundam gets the most attention, but also the gun tank gets more attention, I feel, with more variants of it appearing across the various media and timelines. I just hope the right thing is done, and we eventually see the Guncannon added to the roster in Gundam Evolution, and therefore completing the Project V trifecta. It should be there, it's an important mobile suit, it's just as important as the Gundam and the gun tank, it needs to be there, and I've always loved it. Number 2, the Kampfer. Talk about big impact in a short time. The Kampfer is only on screen for less than 10 minutes, and in that time solidified itself as one of the most badass suits ever made. A hit and run mobile suit made by Zeon. When we see it in War in the Pocket, we see it used to its full effect as it completely wipes the floor with the Federation mobile suit sent after it. Armed with shotguns, bazookas, this thing could hit hard and get away fast. A massive fan favourite, the Kampfer instantly won me over when I first saw it. If I were to choose any Zeon mobile suit to pilot, it would be this one. I really can't say any more without repeating myself, it's just such a badass mobile suit. It looks so menacing that even when it's standing there with no weapons, it looks like it could just beat everyone else in the battlefield. It just oozes with don't fuck with me energy. Easily my second favourite non-Gundam mobile suit of all time, and easily one of my favourite just mobile suits of all time, Gundams included. And here are some honourable mentions that I also love but just missed the top 10 list. So we have the Zamo, the GM3, the Jesta, the Gelgoog and all of its variants, the Virgo, and the V8 and the Mercurius. Now we have my number 1, the Tallgeese. Here we are, my number one, and quite possibly my favourite mobile suit of all time, the Tallgeese from Gundam Wing. From the start of the show, it is established that the Gundams are the most powerful suits in the world with no equal. So when the Tallgeese shows up, a 15-year-old prototype design that was shelved because it was deemed too dangerous to pilot, and absolutely smacks around the main Gundam of the show, I was instantly captured and in love. The sheer deadly speed, the weapons, the design looking very reminiscent of a Roman centurion or gladiator, just everything about this suit does it for me. And of course, those giant fucking thrusters on its back. With its pristine white colour scheme, it just looks like an elegant suit made for an honourable soldier such as Zex. Although I am also a fan of the Tallgeese 2 design with it looking more Gundam-y, and the Tallgeese 3, the original will always be my number one. Other than the Wing Gundam itself, no other mobile suit debut has left a bigger impact on me and my love of this franchise. And I can't wait to finally get my hands on the model kit for this. And that's my list. How does it stack up to yours? Let me know what is your favourite non-Gundam mobile suit design, and let me know what ones you think I missed or maybe forgot about. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, as it really does help the channel. And yeah, hopefully I'll make more top 10 videos in the future. So thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time. Bye bye.